Assalamu alaikum students. On behalf of Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, I, Ali Ruman, welcomes you to our online session for the subject Digital Logic Design for the students of BCS 3 and BCS 3D. In this session, we will be discussing counters and we will see the examples of the counters implementation, how we will implement those counters and what are the basic functionality of the counters. So let us first see the contents we will be discussing in today's session. First of all, we will be having the introduction to the counters and we will be having a quick review what we have studied in our previous sessions. Then we will discuss the example of the binary ripple counter of the 4 bits. After having discussion on the binary ripple counter, we will be discussing the BCD counters that has the capability to count BCD numbers. Then last but not the least, we will be discussing synchronous counters. In our previous session, we have discussed registers, the application of the registers, and the shift registers. And we have discussed that the shift registers are the registers that are used to shift the data serially. And we've discussed several examples that were related to the shift registers. For example, at the end of the session, we have discussed the 4-bit universal shift register that has the capability to perform various operations like shift left operation for the data shifting from left to right, then shift right operation, and also that shift register has the capability to parallel load the data to the outputs. As far as the reference readings and acknowledgements are concerned, we are reading chapter number 6, the book Digital Design with Introduction to Verilog HTL by M. Morris Monk. So to start our discussion, let us first see what do we mean by the binary ripple counter and what is the difference between a ripple counter and a synchronous counter. So first of all, it's a counter. Counter is a device that is used to count some sequence depending upon some predetermined set of states. While we have discussed the registers, we have defined the counters as well. The counters are basically the special type of registers that works with some predetermined set of states. So that have some specific count sequence that is dependent upon the functionality the counter is implemented to achieve. So it's a binary ripple counter, it's a 4-bit counter, and it has the capability to count from the count sequence 0000 till 1111. So let us see how this setup will work basically. So if you see the diagram of the counter that has been implemented with two different hardware setups. For example, the first one is implemented with T flip-flop and second one is implemented with T flip-flop. While we were discussing the flip-flops, it was said that the flip-flops when configured to the toggle state, they used to tend to change their output or to complement their output. So basically we are utilizing that concept that we will configure all the flip-flops, whatsoever the flip-flop we are using, we will configure it in the toggle state so that on each clock pulse or on each count sequence it will gonna complement its output. We can see the count sequence from here that the outputs are represented by A0, A1, A2 and A3, where A0 is the least significant bit of the count sequence and A3 is the most significant bit of the count sequence. So if we observe A0 that A0 is flipping on each clock pulse, which means that the output generated by that particular block, it is inverting its output on each applied clock pulse, which means that we have to configure that into toggle state so that with application of each clock pulse it is inverting its output. Then if you see the A1 here, A1 is flipping after two clock pulses. For example, we can say that the frequency of the A1 is basically half of the frequency of A0. So after two patterns, uh, A1 is flipping itself, and A2 is flipping itself after four patterns, and A3 is flipping itself after eight combinations. So if we represent it in sort of a timing diagram, we can say that for example, this is the waveform for A0, and it has the same frequency which frequency we have applied on its clock pulse. So it is flipping itself, for example, 0 1 0 1 0 1. If we consider A1 here, A1 is flipping after two pulses with two count sequences of the original frequency. And if we represent A2 here, it is inverting itself after four, and for A3 it is inverting itself after eight combinations. So if we see the frequency of A0, that is basically F, for A1 that is basically F by 2, that is half from the original frequency. For A2 is F by 4, and A3 is F by 8. As far as the ripple counters are concerned, the output of one flip-flop is used as a clock source for the next flip-flop. So we can see from this particular sequence as well, for the A0, whenever it is converting from 1 to 0, if you see this first pattern here, because if you see the diagram, A0 is connected to the clock source of the next flip-flop on both the diagrams. Either it is constructed with T flip-flop or it is constructed with A flip-flop. So whenever there is a transition from 1 to 0, for example, if you see this particular case, the next output is triggered. So if you see that the output was 0, but whenever there was a transition from 1 to 0, the output is flipped to 1. Now if we see the next possible pattern here, whenever there is a transition from 1 to 0, the next output is triggered, which means that this is the active low uh, or the falling edge. We can say the falling level counters that are being implemented by this particular setup, and we can see from this particular diagram as well, there is outputs basically are serving as a clock source to the next consecutive flip-flop. Now let us see how this will work basically. So if we see these diagrams here, we can see that we are using 4 T flip-flops here, and all the T inputs are connected together and are set to logic 1, so that flip-flops are considered in toggle state. Similarly, all the flip-flops can be resetted and can have an active low reset, and we can see that these resets are combined from all the flip-flops, and whenever there we apply 0 on this line, all the flip-flops are resetted to 0, 0, 0, 0 or the default state. The first flip-flop is connected with count, that basically serves as a clock source for the first flip-flop. So whenever there is a change in a count, then this A naught is inverted. Now this A naught will serve as a clock source for the next flip-flop, and any change in this level, basically from 1 to 0, will trigger this flip-flop and A1 is updated. Similarly, any change in A1 from 1 till 0 will trigger the next consecutive flip-flop. So basically these flip-flops will generate a count sequence from 0, 0, 0, 0 till 1, 1, 1, 1. The output transition triggers basically the next flip-flop. So whenever there is a transition in the output of any of the flip-flops, the next flip-flop, the consecutive flip-flop is triggered. Similarly, if you see the setup from the D flip-flop here, we can see that we haven't set this D line cumulative to 1. So what we are doing here, because we know that the output follows the input in the D flip-flop, so what we are doing is that we are connecting the Q prime here, this Q prime here, to D line, because Q prime will always be opposite to A naught, and A naught is updated depending upon the application of D. So this is basically the configuration we can use the D flip-flop in the toggle state. So I hope so the concept of the binary ripple counter is clear. Why we are saying it's a ripple counter, because there is a ripple effect here from one output to another output, and whenever there is a transition from 1 to 0, and the next output is triggered and the next count sequence is generated. Now let us go to the next slide. Now we have got the BCD ripple counter. It's just like a binary ripple counter, but the main difference between this one is that its maximum value for the count sequence is 1001. That is a valid BCD number for the 9, decimal digit 9. So all the other combinations exceeding the 9 that are not the valid BCD numbers, so those count sequence are not generated here. So the count will always return from 0 to 9. So we cannot exceed from 9. So whenever we achieve the maximum value 9 here, it will return to 0. So Q1 is always complemented. The first output is always complemented here. It is configured in the toggle state, and here in this particular setup we are using JK flip-flop configured to the toggle state. We can also implement that with the help of a D flip-flop or the D flip-flop. So let us first see the state diagram for the decimal BCD counter, and this is figure 6-9 of the book. The first count value is 0000 for the decimal digit 0. Then with increment of 1, the next is 0001, the next state is 0001, and similarly so on and so forth. We are achieving these count sequence, and whenever we are getting 1001, the next state is 0000. So this is a continuously running process depending upon the application of the count that is being applied, as that is serving as a clock source for the first JK flip-flop. So Q1 is always complemented here, and Q2 is inverted when Q8 equals to 0, and Q1 is shifting from 1 to 0. Q4, similarly for the Q4, it is inverted when Q2 is having a transition from 1 to 0, and Q8, for the Q8, as far as the output of Q8 is concerned, Whenever the Q1 is having transition from 1 to 0, if Q2 equals to Q4 equals to 1, Q8 is inverted, else Q8 is 0. So we can see from this particular setup as well here, as we are using this AND gate here, to ensure Q2 and Q4 are 1. So in that particular case, Q8 is inverted. We can see this by drawing this truth table, and we can see that within these states, these 4-digit number represents Q1, Q2, Q4, and Q8. So if we draw the table here, so we've got Q1, Q2, Q4, and Q8. So the possible values of the output are, which are basically represented within the state. So we can see these facts from this table as well. So Q2 is inverted. If you observe Q2 here, Q2 is inverted in that possible cases whenever Q8 is 0, this Q8 is 0, and Q1 is 1, and having transition from 1 to 0. Similarly, Q4 is inverted whenever Q2 is having a transition from 1 to 0. So if you see that Q4 is inverted here, in this particular case, whenever Q2 is having transition from 1 to 0. So this was basically a BCD ripple counter. Now let us see the concept of a 3-decade BCD counter that has a capability to count till 3 decades, which means that we can count the BCD number, or we can have the counting sequence starting from 0, 0, 0 till 9, 9, 9. These are the 3 decades. So how we have achieved this? Basically, this is figure 6-1 of the book that represents the block diagram of the 3-decade decimal BCD counter. Basically, we are utilizing that BCD counter which we have studied earlier, and here we can see that for the first decade, or for the first digit, we are applying the count pulses here. So it will count from 0 to 9, the unit place. whenever we have reached at 9 value, it will serve as a trigger to the next BCD counter, and the next BCD counter will start it at the placement of the 10th placement, and that count sequence is initiated. So whenever we have achieved the value of 99, that is the maximum possible digit on the 10th placement and the unit placement. Whenever Q8 is 1, it is used to trigger the next BCD counter, and this is how we have generated the count sequence from 000 till 99 and 9. So the number of BCD counters are totally dependent upon how much digit we have to cover, or how much count sequence we have to generate. For example, we have to generate a count sequence till 9999. So what we have to do is we have to reproduce or regenerate this another session or another part, or we have to replicate this part. So we have to use 4 BCD counters here in order to generate the count sequence from 0000 till 9999. I hope so this concept is now clear. Uh, Till now haven't discussed any sort of the reset provision here for the BCD counter here. We can also introduce a reset provision here. We have to reset all those flip flops that are being utilized. For example, it's a JK flip flop, for example, in our previous example, or it's G flip flop or D flip flop. We have to reset that, so we can reset that device as well. So till now we have studied about the ripple counters here. We started our example with the binary ripple counter, and we moved to the BCD counter, BCD ripple counter, and then we've discussed the decade counter, 3 decade BCD counter. So basically the ripple counters, in which we have observed that the flip flops are triggered by the outputs to another flip flop, which we have seen from the fact here, and the trigger source may not be the same for the each flip flops. This is the major difference between ripple counter and the synchronous counter. That in a synchronous counter we have the same trigger source, but in a ripple counter, the trigger source may not be the same for the each flip flop, and the flip flops are changed serially. So this is basically what we are doing right now. So what is the difference between a ripple counter and the synchronous counter? In a synchronous counter, the flip flops are triggered by a common flip flop. So this is the first major observation we can see while comparing a ripple counter and a synchronous counter here, that all the clock sources for all the flip flops are triggered by the same clock source. They are not triggered by the output of another flip flop. This is the first major difference between a ripple counter and a synchronous counter, and the triggering sources are same for all flip flops. So we are not relying on the operation of some another flip flop, and all the operations are basically performed simultaneously. While in the previous case, the change in the output of one flip flop triggers the other flip flop. So this is not the case for the synchronous counters. All the operations basically in a synchronous counter are performed simultaneously. So let us see the example of a binary counter here. Basically, it's just like the ripple counter which we have studied there in the previous slides. But here we are not using any sort of a ripple effect here, and basically we are using the setup in a way that all the flip flops are triggered simultaneously, and we can generate the count sequence from 0 till 15, and whenever we achieve 15, this count sequence is resetted and we will restart this count sequence. So if we see the hardware platform here or the setup here, we are using basically the 4 JK flip flops, configured in can be configured in toggle state or can have the no change state. That is dependent upon whatsoever we are setting the count enable here. So whenever the value of count enable is 0, basically we are applying 0 0 to the JK for the first one, that is basically a no change state. The most important thing which we can observe from this diagram is that the clock source of all the flip-flops J and K flip-flops are basically same and collected to the main clock source, which means that all the flip-flops are triggered at the same time on the positive clock edge, while this was not the case while we were discussing the ripple counters. Now let us see how the setup will work. Basically, we are getting the four outputs A0, A1, A2, and A3. Basically, A0 is considered to be the least significant bit, and A3 is considered to be the most significant bit in the count sequence. Basically, so by default, all the values of A0, A1, A2, and A3 are 0, 0, 0, 0. And whenever you apply a count enable, we set this enable to 1. We are applying J and K equals to 1, 1 for the first flip flop, which means that it goes into the toggle state. This A naught is updated, and this A naught along with this count enable will set other J and K flip flop into the toggle state in only that particular case. So in that particular way, we are basically generating the count sequence from 0 0 0 0 till 1 1 1 1. As far as the last this AND gate is concerned, it is basically complemented when all the lower bits are 1, checked by the AND chain. So students, this was all for today's class. In the today's class, what we have discussed, that we have discussed the counter circuits. We have discussed the counters are the combination or the digital circuits, are the sequential circuits. Basically, that are not the combinational circuit, but that can have some combination modules as well. Are the circuits that has the capability to have some predefined the outputs have to generate the output with predefined set of states, and we whenever we are designing the counters, basically we are defining the predefined set of states and in that particular time, and we are defining the functionality there, and according to that functionality we used to define we used to implement the counters. Then we have started our first example by discussing the binary ripple counter. Basically, ripple counters are the counters in which the output of the one flip flop basically triggers the next flip flop. So basically, the flip flops are also the key ingredients, so the key elements of these counters. So and it is not necessary that all the flip flops will operate simultaneously, and all the flip flops are triggered by the same single clock source. Then we have discussed the BCD counters that has the capability to count from 0000 till 9999, and we have seen the example of the BCD counter implemented with the help of JK flip-flop while configured in the toggle state. Then we have discussed the decade counter, and we observed that the number of BCD counters are totally dependent upon the number of the maximum value of the count sequence. For example, we are counting till 5 decades, then we have to use 5 BCD counters simultaneously. So whenever we achieve a maximum value at some specific digit, we will trigger the next BCD counter, and this process will repeat itself unless and until the maximum value is achieved. Then we have switched to the synchronous counters, and we have seen that the synchronous counters are the counters that has a single clock source and all the flip-flops are triggered simultaneously. So that was the major difference between a synchronous counter and a BCD and a ripple counter here. So all the flip-flops will change its output at the same time, while that was not the case in the ripple counters. Here we can see then we've seen a binary counter. Basically that is a synchronous counter because it is synchronized with the positive edge of the clock. Here we can have seen this in the diagram here, and we've seen a mechanism here that how this count sequence is generated with the help of JK flip-flop and some additional AND gates, and we have achieved this functionality, and this count sequence or the counter has the capability to count from 0 to 15, and after 15 the count sequence is repeated. So student, that was all for the today's class. I hope so you now understand the concept of the counters here, and you can implement some basic counters as well. In our next session, we will be discussing the memory elements and the memory modules, and we will see how we will design the memory modules by using Verilog HDL. Thank you students. Allah Hafiz.